XTB are a global investing powerhouse, and they've even got Zlatan Ibrahimovic as their ambassador. Just like Zlatan, XTB like to think they're the best at what they do. And to be fair, it's hard to deny they've built a strong proposition, with zero commission trading, over 6,000 stocks and ETFs, cutting-edge investment features, and a 4.5% interest rate on uninvested cash. But to be honest, they only got my attention at the end of last year when they launched their ISA. I started paying attention at this point because they became the overall package for us folk in the UK in terms of low fees, investment choice, features, and now account types. In my view, the ISA was the last missing piece for XTB to become a genuine rival to the likes of Trading 212. Given this, I've been testing out the platform over the past few weeks, and I'm now ready to give a full review based on my own experiences. My aim is to answer 2 questions for you by the end of the video. Firstly, whether XTB suits your investing needs, and secondly, whether it's better than the platform you're already using. And this is something I'll be asking myself throughout the video. To keep things simple, we'll be breaking this video down into 5 parts. Firstly, we'll be providing a platform overview, going through the safety of the platform and the account types. Secondly, we'll be going through the fee structure. Thirdly, we'll be going through the investment choice. The 4th part will be focused on the features, and then we'll finish off with the 5th part by going through a pros and cons analysis. Throughout all these sections, you'll be seeing plenty of walkthrough footage too, as if you're anything like me, then you'll like to see the platform in action. If you're new here, I'm Finch, a manager son by day, and on this channel we like to discuss all things personal finance with a particular focus on how to grow your money through investing. If that sounds good to you, then I'd greatly appreciate a subscribe. But for this video, let's get into it, and let's start by answering a question many people ask when a new-ish platform comes to the UK market, and that's whether it's safe. The first thing to say is that XTB is FCA regulated, and if they go bust, eligible funds are protected by up to $85,000 under the Financial Services Compensation Scheme. But the risk of them going out of business is very low, as they're a profitable company. In fact, they made around a $250 million profit in 2024. Now we've got that out of the way, let's find out a little bit more about the platform itself. XTB was originally launched in Poland in the early 2000s, and since then they've expanded into 13 different markets. Although they're still fairly new to the UK, only launching here in 2023, they're one of the fastest growing names in global investing, with over 1.6 million customers globally. Every market tends to have slightly different propositions for XTB, but this review will focus on their UK proposition. In terms of the account types they offer for us folk in the UK, they offer 2 main account types. Firstly, a stocks and shares ISA, which is a tax-efficient account in that any gains inside the account are not taxed. Here you do have a £20,000 contribution limit across all your ISA accounts. The second account type is a general investment account. Here there isn't any tax benefits, but there's also no contribution limits. They currently don't offer a SIP, a junior ISA or a lifetime ISA, so for those you'll need to look elsewhere. But for the majority of non-pension focused investors, these 2 account types will be enough, as the most popular non-pension account type is an ISA. Now we've gone through the platform, you found out a little bit more about that. Let's go through one of the main selling points of XTB in their low fee structure. They have an extremely competitive fee structure with no account management fees, no deposit fees, no withdrawal fees, and no commission on stocks and ETFs if your monthly trading volume is under 100,000 euros. However, there are 2 key fees to be aware of. Firstly, an inactivity fee equivalent to 10 euros per month if you have 1 year of trading inactivity and have made no deposits over the past 90 days. And secondly, a currency conversion fee of 0.5% of trades in a different currency. The currency fee is an important one to watch, as 0.5% can really add up if you're regularly buying international stocks or ETFs. Trading 212 by comparison charges a 0.15% fee for FX conversion. But here's the twist. XTB is developing an e-wallet feature which will let you exchange money in foreign currencies for 0% fees. So through this, in theory, you could avoid conversion fees altogether. For example, you could exchange pounds to dollars and then buy US stocks. This means that if they nail the feature, XTB could actually be cheaper than trading 2-on-2 for international stocks and ETFs, which is pretty incredible when you consider how dominant 2-on-2 have been in the low-fee space. Even based on their current fee structure, XTB is one of the cheapest places to buy stocks and ETFs in the UK, and this is a big selling point of the platform. Now we know all about the fee structure, let's bring up the platform and go through their investment choice. XTB have both a web and app platform, but I find the app easier, so let's bring this up and use it for the walkthrough. XTB have three main investment types. They firstly have CFDs with over 2,000 instruments available across Forex, indices, commodities, and so on. However, this type of investment is very high risk, it's not available in ISA account types, and it's not really the focus of this video. CFDs are mainly for advanced traders, so we'll skip to the next investment type, and that is stocks. XTB offers 6,000 global stocks according to their website. This includes all the big US and UK names, and you can browse their stock selection by using the search bar here. For example, if we click on stocks and then stocks again, you can select to view stocks available per country, and if we select US, you can see there's a huge selection. In fact, the selection is that big that if I keep scrolling, I'm still nowhere near the end. Of course, searching for stocks this way is not the easiest user experience. If you want a simpler view to find stocks and other investment types, you can head over to the Discover tab, where you'll see groupings of investments at the top here by trends, Wall Street favorites, and then popular picks. However, my favorite view in terms of finding stocks and ETFs is actually within XTB's ISA section. So if we head over to that by clicking on Portfolio and then clicking on ISA, here you can see there's a really nice breakdown of stocks, ETFs and themes, so it makes it super easy to find what you're looking for. Once you've found a stock you like, XTB offers a huge amount of information. For example, if we find Microsoft, we can see here at the top there's a graph with all kinds of tools, so you can see the current price and previous price of Microsoft. If we scroll down, we can see some key information around Microsoft. We can see some price alerts, rates of return, and if we click on the info symbol in the top right hand corner, we get some basic information on Microsoft, information on dividends, ESG, financials, and so on. So they provide a huge amount of information here on an individual investment basis. And accompanying this, they provide a huge amount of features in terms of helping you buy and track different investments. This includes the ability to buy fractional shares, which makes investing super accessible because it means you can buy a fraction of a share instead of needing to buy the whole thing. So you can buy from a much lower price point. They also have stop and limit orders. And in terms of withdrawals, you can sell quickly and get same day business withdrawals if you sell before 1 PM, or you get next business day withdrawals if you sell after 1 PM. And let's test out some of this ordering functionality by buying some Microsoft stock. Let's buy £10 worth of Microsoft stock, click buy here, and let's execute this order. And now that order has been submitted, showing how easy it is to make orders, place orders through the XTB app. In terms of other investment types as well as stocks, they also offer ETFs. And the same set of features we just went through also applies for ETFs. In terms of the range they have over 1,400 ETFs according to their website. This is a huge range, and it's more than most investment platforms in the UK. And we can take a look at some of the ETFs they offer by heading over to the search bar, and we can see they offer ETFs from all the big fund managers. For example, they offer iShares funds, Amundi funds, and if we type in Vanguard here, you'll see all the Vanguard ETFs you'd expect. If we click on one of these, let's click on a life strategy fund, you can see we also get all the great information as we did with stocks. So XTB is very information rich in terms of what they provide us, and this is really good considering the low fee structure. However, my favourite thing around their ETF offering is not actually the choice they offer, it's a feature which accompanies the offering, and that's the investment plan feature, which lets you automate ETF investing. This is similar to pies with Trading 212 or saving plans with Invest Engine, as here you can choose ETFs, assign percentages, and then decide whether you want to invest manually or set an automated regular payment. So this essentially automates your whole investing journey, and I'm someone who really likes automated long-term investing features, so this is a big win for me especially. And overall, in terms of the choice of investments XTB offer, they offer a large choice of stocks and ETFs, and their range rivals most investment platforms in the UK. Now we know all about their investment choice, let's move on to going through their feature set. I've already gone through one of my favourite features in their investment plan feature. However, they provide plenty of other features which makes it easy to track and find different investments. For example, on the Markets tab here, you can set favourites as I've done at the top here, and this makes it really easy to track your favourite investments. You can also see what's hot, and there's also some sentiment data showing buyer and seller percentages. I really like this sentiment tool, as on this channel we often talk about market sentiment, so it's really neat that you can actually visualize it here. However, the most advanced features for XTB are not actually on the app, they're on their web platform. Here you can dive into all kinds of data and tools to analyze investments, and the amount of data and insight you get through this platform is incredible given the low fees. With this level of data, it does tend to of course suit the more advanced traders, but if you're not in this boat and still want to learn, they have features for this too. They provide a free demo account with virtual money so you can test all the functionality out, and they also provide an education series with structured video courses, webinars, and market insights. XTB's feature set is not just limited to core investment functionality either. For example, they're currently providing a 4.5% interest rate on uninvested cash. However, their biggest non-core investment feature hasn't even launched in my view, and that's the e-wallet feature. This is already available in other XTB markets and will soon be coming to the UK. This will include a multi-currency card, enabling seamless currency exchange with 0% FX fees on all XTB transactions on the card, and it will also enable 0% FX fees for money you convert in the app, which enables the workaround we spoke about earlier to avoid the currency conversion charge. There's many other features, but the ones we just went through are the main ones. Given this feature set, many people will start comparing XTB to Trading 212. They're both natural competitors and have got many things in common with a low fee structure and large investment choice. However, there are differences, and each of these platforms will suit slightly different investors. Trading 212 has a bigger investment choice, awesome clean user experience, social features, and of course their pies, which are slightly more polished than XTB's investment plans. Plus of course, Trading 212 offer a wider feature set beyond investing with their spending card and cash ISA. However, XTB likely offer more advanced technical features in terms of their tools and research, and they currently have a superior interest rate on uninvested cash. Once they release their e-wallet, they could also potentially offer a lower fee solution for international stocks and ETFs. Overall, both XTB and Trading 212 are great investment platforms, and in my view, they're fairly neck and neck. However, if you're a frequent trader or just want more in-depth investment data, then XTB is hard to beat. Now we've provided a walkthrough of the investment choice and key features from XTB, let's finish the video with a pros and cons analysis. And let's start with the pros. An obvious one is the fee structure. This is a huge selling point of the platform, and it's going to get even better once XTB release their e-wallet feature. Another pro is the fact that you can get a 4.5% interest rate on uninvested cash at the time of recording. Of course, interest rates regularly change, so by the time you're watching this, it may be a slightly different rate, but nonetheless, at the time of recording, a 4.5% rate is very competitive, especially considering it's better than many savings accounts out there. The next pro is XTB's flexible ISA. We spoke about earlier how XTB launched their ISA at the end of 2023. And the good thing about this is that it's a flexible ISA, meaning that if you withdraw money in the same ISA year, you can then put money back into the ISA account without it affecting your annual ISA allowance. Another pro is their great feature set in terms of their technical tools and research, as well as their investment plan feature, which is my favorite feature as a long-term investing focused feature. The final pro I want to call out is their awesome sign-up offer for new customers. You can access this through a link in the description of this video, or alternatively, you can use the code Finch in the promo code section of the sign-up process. So there's plenty of benefits with XTB, but there's also a few cons I want to call out. The first is the fact that their web platform is great for those advanced traders, but could be a little bit overwhelming with all the data for the beginner to intermediate level investors. The next con is their inactivity fee. However, here I do appreciate that XTB have got to have some fees to justify all the research, tools and data they provide. The final con is their account types. It's great that they offer a ISA, however they don't currently offer a SIP, junior ISA or a lifetime ISA account type. So overall, now we've gone through all the key sections of this video, we can finally answer that question from the start of the video, in whether XTB is worth switching to, whether it's worth signing up to. This depends on your needs for an investment platform, but if you're an active trader or just want a feature-rich platform with low fees and high flexibility, then XTB is hard to beat. For me personally, I'll likely carry on using XTB in the background, but I won't be switching to them just yet as my main platform. I'm going to carry on using InvestEngine as my main ISA platform, as here I invest in a set of long-term focused ETFs, and InvestEngine's feature set and low fee structure tends to suit my passive goals and strategy with this type of investment. I also have a trading 2-on-2 portfolio where I invest in individual stocks, and I'll be sticking to trading 2-on-2 with this portfolio simply because I really like their user experience. However, if I was a more active trader and if I really used the technical tools and research XTB offered, then I would switch to them tomorrow, and I still may switch to them in the future. Ultimately, the best platform for you depends on your needs. But XTB have launched into the UK with serious intent, and they've provided the strongest challenge to 2-on-2's dominance in the low fee space I've seen. More competition is great for the market, and I'm going to follow XTB's journey closely and maybe one day even use the platform as my main ISA provider. Let me know in the comments what you think about XTB's offering and whether you'll be using them as your main provider. Thanks for watching.